A seismic shock is quietly tearing America apart. It's not an earthquake or a financial crisis, but the collapse of brands we thought were immortal. Familiar names like Walmart and Walgreens are closing stores. Once symbols of American prosperity, they now represent a growing problem. In just the last year, over 3,200 major stores have gone dark. Each closure means job losses and a community losing a vital part of its economy. This isn't the end. The next wave is coming, and it could reach your city. We're about to reveal 12 major retailers you thought were invincible but are now on the brink of collapse. Stay tuned to find out which ones are next. 12 mine as Walmart, the struggling retail titan. For over half a century, Walmart stood as a beacon of the American dream. It was the place where families gathered on weekends to stock up on essentials, where retirees found comfort in their daily routines, and where communities thrived around its presence. But by 2025, the once unshakable retail giant is facing a transformation that few could have predicted. The iconic yellow and blue signs that once symbolized prosperity are now signaling closures in states like California, Illinois, and Washington, as well as in small towns that once relied on Walmart as their economic lifeline. The irony is that Walmart isn't losing money. With annual revenues still exceeding $600 billion, the company remains a financial powerhouse. However, its profits are being quietly drained by an insidious problem: theft. In 2024 alone, retail shrink, stolen, or missing goods cost the industry a staggering $112 billion, with Walmart absorbing over $3 billion of that loss. Some stores report losing as much as $10,000 a week to theft, forcing the company to invest heavily in security measures that further strain its bottom line. Compounding the issue are rising operational costs. Rent, electricity, and wages are climbing, making it increasingly difficult for Walmart to sustain operations in certain areas, even as customers continue to shop. The middle-class families that once formed the backbone of Walmart's customer base are now tightening their budgets, shopping less frequently, and turning to online orders or discount chains like Dollar General. The company's promise of everyday low prices now feels like a cruel joke in an economy where even low is too high for many. In response, Walmart is investing heavily in technology, including AI, warehouse automation, and smart distribution centers. This shift aims to create a leaner, more efficient model with fewer physical stores. But this evolution comes at a cost. Thousands of workers are losing their jobs, and the communities that once depended on Walmart are left hollow. When a Walmart closes, it's not just a store that disappears. It's a hub of activity, a source of jobs, and a contributor to local tax revenue. For many older Americans, the loss is deeply personal, as Walmart was more than a place to shop. It was a part of their daily rhythm, a familiar constant in a changing world. The question looms: if even Walmart, the retail juggernaut, is struggling to maintain its foothold, what does the future hold for the rest of America's retail landscape? 11 Walgreens, the vanishing pharmacy. Walgreens, a name synonymous with convenience and reliability, is undergoing a seismic shift that few could have anticipated. By 2025, the pharmacy chain is on track to close over 1,200 locations across the United States, with the first wave of closures hitting states like California, Illinois, Florida, and New York. Once a staple in nearly every community, Walgreens is now disappearing at an alarming rate, leaving behind empty storefronts and a void in essential services. The reasons for this decline are multifaceted. Rising rents, escalating employee insurance costs, and rampant retail theft have created a perfect storm of financial strain. In 2024 alone, Walgreens reported losses of hundreds of millions of dollars due to theft, despite investing heavily in anti-theft measures. Ironically, these measures, such as locking shelves and sealing cabinets, have driven customers away, further eroding sales and creating a downward spiral that the company has struggled to escape. The impact of these closures is felt most acutely by seniors and rural communities. In areas like rural Arizona and Ohio, residents now face the daunting prospect of driving 20 miles or more to find an open pharmacy. For those who rely on monthly prescriptions, this added distance can mean delayed medications and increased health risks. Mail-order prescriptions, while an option, often come with their own set of challenges, including delivery delays that can stretch for days. Walgreens describes this wave of closures as a strategic restructuring. But for the communities left behind, it feels more like abandonment. The loss of a local pharmacy is more than an inconvenience. It's a blow to the sense of security and stability that these stores once provided. For millions of Americans, Walgreens was more than a place to pick up prescriptions. It was a trusted part of their daily lives. As the chain continues to shrink, the question remains, who will fill the gap left by its absence? 10 Best Buy, the fading tech haven. There was a time when walking into a Best Buy felt like stepping into the future. The air was filled with the scent of new electronics, the hum of high-tech gadgets, and the excitement of discovering the latest innovations. Families would spend weekends exploring rows of flat-screen TVs, testing out Bose speakers, and marveling at the newest laptops. But by 2025, that sense of wonder has all but disappeared, as Best Buy struggles to keep its doors open. Over the past 4 years, the electronics retailer has shuttered more than 400 locations, leaving behind darkened storefronts and empty parking lots. The decline isn't due to a lack of interest in technology. Americans still love their gadgets, but rather a shift in how they shop. Increasingly, customers visit Best Buy to browse and test products, only to order them online from competitors like Amazon, where prices are lower and delivery is faster. This phenomenon, known as showrooming, has decimated Best Buy's profits, which have plummeted from $2.4 billion in 2021 to just $1 billion by 2024. The financial pressures don't end there. Skyrocketing rent costs, with some stores paying up to $100,000 per month, coupled with rising wages and insurance expenses, have left the company struggling to stay afloat. Meanwhile, direct-to-consumer sales from brands like Apple and Amazon have cut out the middleman, further eroding Best Buy's market share. For many, the loss of Best Buy represents more than just the closure of a store. It's the end of an era when technology felt tangible and accessible. A 60-year-old customer lamented, "I hate buying electronics online. I want to touch them," to hear the staff explain. Her sentiment echoes the feelings of an entire generation that once saw Best Buy as a gateway to the future. As the blue neon lights fade, what's disappearing isn't just a retailer, it's a sense of connection to the world of technology. 9. Subway, the decline of a sandwich empire. Subway, once the go-to destination for a quick and satisfying meal, is facing a crisis that threatens to upend its status as America's favorite sandwich chain. By 2025, the company has closed more than 2,000 locations, leaving behind a trail of empty shops and disillusioned customers. Once celebrated for its fresh ingredients and customizable options, Subway is now struggling to maintain its relevance in a rapidly changing food landscape. The problems plaguing Subway are both internal and external. Overexpansion has led to market saturation, with stores often competing against each other for the same customers. This aggressive growth strategy has pushed many franchise owners into financial ruin, as profits are spread too thin to sustain operations. At the same time, Americans' tastes have evolved. Consumers are increasingly seeking out healthier, more authentic dining options, leaving Subway's once popular menu feeling outdated and uninspired. Customer complaints about declining quality and service have only added to the chain's woes. One former patron remarked, "The bread is stale, the employees don't care, and the sandwiches just aren't the same." This sentiment captures the broader dissatisfaction that has driven customers to seek alternatives, even if it's just another sandwich shop down the street. The impact of Subway's decline extends beyond its individual stores. For many, the chain represented a simple pleasure, a moment of respite in a busy day. Its closures marked the end of an era when lunch was more than just a meal. It was a small but meaningful part of daily life. As Subway continues to shrink, it serves as a stark reminder of how quickly even the most iconic brands can fall from grace. $8 General, the cost of staying cheap. Dollar General, once hailed as the champion of America's working class, is now facing a crisis that threatens its very identity. For years, it was the go-to store for families looking to stretch their dollars, a place where dinner could be bought with just a handful of spare change. But by 2025, the low-cost retailer is paying a steep price for its rapid expansion and the economic struggles of its core customers. According to its Q2 2025 report, Dollar General has shuttered over 400 stores and announced a halt to new openings in 2026. A shocking reversal for a company that had been opening an average of 3 stores a day for a decade. The reasons behind this slowdown are as complex as they are troubling. The company is grappling with a severe labor shortage, leaving many stores understaffed or operating with just one overnight worker who juggles the roles of cashier, stocker, and security guard. Meanwhile, the very customers Dollar General was designed to serve are finding it increasingly difficult to afford even discounted goods. A bottle of shampoo that once cost $1 now sells for $6, and a pack of cookies is priced at $4. For many, the store no longer feels like a haven for bargains, but a painful reminder of how far their purchasing power has fallen. The atmosphere inside many Dollar General locations reflects this shift. Empty shelves, dim lighting, and a sense of desolation have replaced the bustling energy of the past. In rural areas where Dollar General often served as the only accessible retail option, its decline is particularly devastating. One customer lamented, "Dollar General isn't going bankrupt, we are." This sentiment captures the broader economic malaise affecting millions of Americans, for whom even the cheapest options are now out of reach. The decline of Dollar General is more than just a business story. It's a reflection of a nation grappling with deep economic and social challenges. As the chain pauses its once unstoppable growth, communities are left to wonder, if even Dollar General can't make it, what does that say about the state of the American economy? 7-Eleven, the end of 24/7 convenience. For decades, 7-Eleven was a symbol of American convenience, its orange and green signs glowing brightly on streets that never seemed to sleep. It was the place where truck drivers grabbed a midnight coffee, where workers picked up a quick snack, and where night owls found solace in the hum of fluorescent lights. But by 2025, the iconic chain is dimming its lights, with over 800 stores closing or being sold in a single year. The closures are concentrated in urban areas plagued by high crime rates and soaring operating costs, making the 24-hour business model increasingly unsustainable. The challenges facing 7-Eleven are emblematic of broader societal shifts. Rising insurance costs, up by more than 30%, and a surge in petty theft and shoplifting have made it difficult for many franchise owners to keep their doors open. In some cities, stores have been forced to install metal gates, reduce operating hours, or eliminate night shifts altogether. What was once a beacon of round-the-clock accessibility is now a shadow of its former self, with pale yellow lights and help-wanted signs replacing the vibrant energy of the past. The decline of 7-Eleven is not just a business failure, it's a cultural loss. For many, the chain represented more than just a place to buy a Slurpee or a pack of gum. It was a cornerstone of community life, a place where late-night conversations and chance encounters were as much a part of the experience as the products on the shelves. As one customer put it, 7-Eleven was where you could find a little bit of everything, even at 2 a.m. Now it feels like the world is closing in on itself. The closures of 7-Eleven stores are a stark reminder of the challenges facing America's retail landscape. As the chain retreats from its 24/7 model, it leaves behind not just empty storefronts, but a sense of loss for the communities it once served. The question now is whether any retailer can fill the void left by 7-Eleven's fading lights. 6. Kroger, the supermarket on the brink. Kroger, long considered a cornerstone of America's middle-class shopping experience, is now struggling to adapt to a rapidly changing retail environment. For decades, the supermarket chain was a symbol of abundance, a place where families could fill their carts with fresh produce, meat, and pantry staples without breaking the bank. But by 2025, Kroger is facing a crisis that threatens its very existence. In just the second quarter of the year, the company's net profit dropped by 7.8%. While employee insurance costs surged by 22%. These numbers may seem abstract, but their impact is painfully real for the millions of Americans who rely on Kroger for their weekly groceries. The challenges facing Kroger are both financial and operational. Rising costs for rent, wages, and utilities have forced the company to close dozens of stores in states like California, Illinois, and Washington. A proposed merger with Albertsons, which could have provided some relief, was blocked by the Federal Trade Commission over monopoly concerns, leaving hundreds of stores in limbo. Meanwhile, consumers are increasingly turning to competitors like Aldi, Costco, and online delivery services, further eroding Kroger's market share. The decline of Kroger is most visible in the communities it once served. Empty parking lots, barren shelves, and faded hiring signs have become common sights in neighborhoods that once thrived around the supermarket. An anonymous employee described the situation as a slow unraveling of everything that made Kroger great. For many middle-class families, the chain's struggles are a painful reminder of how inflation and economic uncertainty are reshaping their lives. Kroger's decline is not just a business story, it's a reflection of a broader societal shift. As consumers tighten their belts and rethink their shopping habits, the very model of the American supermarket is being called into question. The fate of Kroger serves as a cautionary tale for an industry grappling with the challenges of a changing world. 5. Big Lots, the discount store dilemma. Big Lots, once a haven for budget-conscious shoppers, is now facing a crisis that threatens its place in the retail landscape. For years, the chain was a go-to destination for middle-class families looking to furnish their homes without breaking the bank. A sofa at half price, a rug for $20, or a discounted lamp for the living room. These were the kinds of deals that made Big Lots a beloved part of American life. But by 2025, the chain is struggling to stay afloat, with over 200 stores closing in a single year. The reasons for Big Lots' decline are both economic and cultural. Revenue has plummeted by nearly 30% compared to pre-pandemic levels, while operating costs have doubled. The very customers who once flocked to Big Lots for affordable home goods are now finding it difficult to justify even small purchases. Rising rents, insurance premiums and medical costs have left many families with little disposable income, turning what was once a shopping spree into a bare-bones trip for essentials like toilet paper and snacks. The atmosphere inside Big Lots stores reflects this shift. Once busy aisles are now eerily quiet, and the joy of finding a great deal has been replaced by the grim reality of economic hardship. An elderly woman summed it up best. "I used to buy everything here for my little apartment. Now they've closed, and I don't know where to go." Her words capture the broader sense of loss felt by communities across the country. The decline of Big Lots is more than just a retail story. It's a symbol of the challenges facing America's middle class. As the chain continues to shrink, it leaves behind not just empty storefronts but a sense of despair for the millions of Americans who once relied on it. The question now is whether any retailer can step in to fill the void left by Big Lots' retreat. For Macy's, the fading star of American retail. Macy's, once the crown jewel of American department stores, is now a shadow of its former self. By 2025, the iconic retailer is closing over 150 stores, cutting more than 2,300 jobs, and even considering selling off its prized real estate. Once a symbol of middle-class luxury and holiday magic, Macy's is now struggling to stay relevant in a world that has moved on. Revenue has plummeted by 25% in just 3 years, and its stock value has been slashed by more than half. What was once a dream for shoppers and investors alike has become a bittersweet memory. Walking into a Macy's today feels like stepping into a time capsule. The shelves are sparse, the aisles are eerily quiet, and the once bustling energy has been replaced by a sense of melancholy. Signs advertising extra 70% off hang like desperate pleas, while employees move through the store with a quiet resignation. One worker in Ohio shared a poignant moment. "When we took the sign down, someone cried. Not because they lost their job, but because it felt like America was losing a piece of itself." Macy's decline isn't the result of a single catastrophic event, but rather a slow erosion caused by clinging to outdated business models. While online platforms like Amazon revolutionized shopping, Macy's held on to the belief that customers would always prefer the tactile experience of in-store shopping. They underestimated the power of convenience and the reality of shrinking wallets. Today, many former Macy's locations are being repurposed into rental apartments, co-working spaces, or even schools. The transformation of these grand buildings into something entirely different is a stark reminder of how much the retail landscape has changed. For those who remember visiting Macy's during the holiday season, the memories of twinkling lights, festive displays, and the joy of finding the perfect gift are now tinged with sadness. As the red and white lights of Macy's fade, they take with them a piece of American history, leaving behind only nostalgia for a golden age that has long since passed. 3 fast food chains, the quick bite losing its flavor. Fast food, once the cornerstone of American convenience, is now facing an existential crisis. Chains like McDonald's, Burger King, and Subway, which once symbolized the fast-paced, on-the-go lifestyle of the nation, are closing hundreds of locations across the country. By 2025, over 200 major fast food restaurants have shut their doors, not because Americans have stopped eating, but because they've grown weary of what fast food represents. A burger that once cost $5 now comes with a $12 price tag, and the free soda refills that were once a hallmark of the experience are now relics of the past. The decline of fast food is rooted in a shift in consumer preferences. Younger generations are gravitating toward healthier options. Middle-aged adults are increasingly concerned about the long-term health effects of greasy meals, and older Americans are seeking out more wholesome, sit-down dining experiences. The repetition that once made fast food chains efficient and reliable has now become their downfall. Every store looks the same, every menu item feels uninspired, and the once cheerful slogans now ring hollow. A 60-year-old customer lamented, "Back then, taking my kids to McDonald's was a joy. Now it just feels empty." This sentiment captures the broader disillusionment with an industry that has failed to evolve. Fast food isn't just losing customers, it's losing its soul. The sense of community and excitement that once defined these chains has been replaced by a transactional, joyless experience. As more Americans opt for home-cooked meals or healthier alternatives, the golden arches and flame-grilled logos that once dotted the landscape are becoming less common. The decline of fast food is a reflection of a nation that is rethinking its relationship with food, health, and convenience. What was once a quick bite on a busy day is now a relic of a bygone era. 2. Retail districts. The death of the shopping street. The once vibrant shopping streets of America are now eerily quiet, their storefronts dark and their parking lots empty. By 2025, more than 3,000 major retail stores have closed, leaving behind a trail of abandoned malls and deserted shopping centers. Names like Macy's, JCPenney, and Bed Bath & Beyond, which once lit up every Black Friday, are now fading into obscurity. The holiday music still plays in some malls, but it feels more like a haunting echo of the past than a celebration of the present. The decline of retail districts isn't just about the collapse of individual brands, it's about the disappearance of an entire way of life. Online shopping has fundamentally changed how Americans consume, and with every click, another brick-and-mortar store becomes obsolete. When people shop from their couches, they no longer visit the cafe next door, the restaurant across the street, or the mall itself. The ripple effects are devastating, turning once bustling retail hubs into ghost towns. For those who worked in these stores, the loss is deeply personal. One former Macy's employee shared, "I don't remember what I sold, but I remember every customer's face." Now those faces are gone, hidden behind phone screens. The human connection that once defined the shopping experience has been replaced by algorithms and delivery trucks. The closure of retail districts is more than just an economic shift, it's a cultural loss. As the last stores close their doors, what fades away isn't just commerce, but a sense of community and shared experience. Pharmacies. The vanishing pillars of reassurance. Pharmacies like Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid were once symbols of reliability and comfort. Their red and white signs a reassuring presence on every corner. But by 2025, these pillars of American life are disappearing at an alarming rate. Over 2,000 major pharmacies have shut down in just 18 months, leaving countless communities without easy access to essential medications. The reasons for these closures are varied: rising rents, increasing wages for pharmacists, higher insurance costs, and rampant theft, but the impact on everyday lives is immeasurable. In rural areas like Arizona and Ohio, the loss of a local pharmacy is particularly devastating. Seniors who once drove just a few minutes to pick up their prescriptions now face journeys of 20 miles or more. For those who are unfamiliar with online ordering, or who simply prefer the human touch of speaking to a pharmacist, the closures are a harsh blow. A 70-year-old woman shared, "I don't know how to order medicine online. I just want to see a pharmacist, ask a few questions, and bring the medicine home." Her words echo the sentiments of millions who feel left behind in the digital age. The decline of pharmacies isn't just about the loss of convenience, it's about the erosion of trust and community. For many, the local pharmacy was more than just a place to buy medicine. It was a lifeline, a place where they felt seen and cared for. As these stores disappear, they leave behind not just empty buildings, but a void in the lives of the people they once served. Walgreens may call it strategic restructuring, but for the communities left in the lurch, it feels like abandonment. The vanishing pharmacies are a stark reminder of how even the most essential services are not immune to the pressures of a changing world.